We ready? Hello, everyone. Sorry. Hello, everyone. Today I am here with my friend, what's your official name? Ibrahim Bangura, aka Beloz. Boblo. Hey. So why are we here today, Beloz? We are here because you are turning an age in your late 30s, not quite 40 yet. Thank God for your life. And we thought, well, I am honored that you thought of me as your bestest friend, the person who should be having a conversation with you. I think this is a precursor to some of the things we want to do creatively. I cannot go able to go parliament and also be called that word. But yeah, we're here. This is a serious conversation. These questions I'm going to ask you today is just to delve into who is Beloz. I know you. A lot of people know you. Since school, I've known you since Leone College. College, navigating life. We've worked together in two jobs, right? Because yes. FCDO and State House. So today, Beloz, we're here. I want to delve a little bit into you because I think you're like a bit of a puzzle. A lot of people think they know you, but I think there's another side of you that a few of us get to see, get to know. And I just want, on this momentous occasion that is your late 30s birthday, he's now saying his age, but I'm older than Beloz. I just want to put that out there. I'm older than Beloz. I'm a senior for an art school. So me and I know to age mates, 48. Beloz, let me start first of all. To the point I made just now that a lot of people don't know you. I think a lot of people know you socially and through work as this big ball of energy, this hyper entertaining social person. I know differently. I know that though you are a social butterfly and you're out there, but I also know that you have a very close circle. You do not open up to a lot of people. A lot of people don't know the real you. I want to know, how do you navigate, most especially in Sierra Leone, being such a small social circle? How do you navigate being, I think the word for it is an ambivert, wherein you like social interactions, but you always try to retreat back to recharging your batteries. How do you navigate being such a big personality, such a social person, but yet still maintaining so much privacy about who you are?
It's definitely it's a hard mix, primarily because of the society we serve. People are easy to tag people like me as proud. If you say better pass person, if you say stock up.
There's a little bit of truth, but let's carry on. Small truth inside there.
So it's always recognizing limits and just being very aware of self. I can tell people and say, yes, it may come across as arrogant, but I know myself enough for no say. If Binta invites me something, then I'm a person and all. If I'm not feeling that energy or what it is, I would let Binta know, say, yeah, I'd love to be there. Except, of course, there are occasions where, say, yes, you can't pass up on. But ordinarily, say you're having an event and it's just friends coming over and all. Recognizing that I'm not in that headspace for interact, for mix and all of that. It's good that you're aware of that so you're able to communicate it. Because what happens is ultimately you put yourself out, you go, you end up being a party pooper because you're not in the mood. Because somebody like me, I'm big energy. I'm like you.
Normally, people always expect that, but that's not you all the time. I know this.
Yeah. So whenever, and that's a lot of pressure, if I feel I cannot bring this energy, especially if it's in a big crowd, if it's something small like you, Melvic, me, people that will know me, I know I don't always have to be that person.
Yeah.
I can be the Beloz who just sit there and they talk. I mean, we've done it together so many times where, say, I'm sitting right next to you, I'm just constantly on my phone.
Yeah.
I'm not making conversation and all of that. So I think that's how I have been able to navigate. But as I say, it's been difficult. especially somebody like me where, for so many reasons, socially, politically, I'm in all the spaces where I constantly need to interact with people. So when you think about that, it's a tough ask.
Really?
It is a tough ask.
You don't come across like it's hard for you. I always say you're savage because I've witnessed wherein you've been invited to something like, I didn't go. It's like, well, why you didn't go? Because I don't want to go. But then now I'm hearing you say it's because, okay, Binta, I'm not in that space. I'm not in that headspace to come with my A game in terms of socializing, in terms of just bringing that big ball of energy. But to me, it comes across like, maybe as you say, I understand that it's not you being, you're not proud, you're not savage. It's just, I don't want to go. But I never thought of it as you feeling like you have pressure to socialize.
Yeah, because you, as you don't point out, you know the other me. You understand? And people on the outside don't necessarily know that person. So to that person, it's like, invite her, not come your business.
Yeah.
Just the other day, somebody may drive past the house, an older gentleman, he see me, Tim up Nugget. Call me, come, talk, oh, the mommy, this and that, oh, the partner be me person. And he asked, but when they see you, why you don't, don't isolate yourself and everything. And I'm like, that's just the general expectation in this space we live, that people don't often recognize what you're dealing with, your own battles and everything. It's just
just talk about
where you want to go and everything. Exactly. You have to interact and socialize. So it's one of the things I struggle with. But I think
you carry it well. I would never have known.
Yeah.
So let me know that when I see Beloz out, this big ball of energy took you. You hype yourself up.
Oh yeah.
You pre-game with the energy before you come. Oh, interesting. I had an interaction with someone who said something, and it came to mind when you were saying this, that we're not necessarily extroverts. We just feed off people's energies.
Absolutely.
So it could also be that when we're not in that headspace, it's just so heavy on us to be that big ball of energy, to be the host or hostess, to come with that, as you say, that A game, that energy. It's very exhausting. I also find that when I socialize, when I go home, I really just want to be in a quiet space. I don't even want to talk with my family. So I guess that's us. Then it comes to mind something else that is very, very, I should say, interesting about you. I find very interesting about you. Having known you since school days, I would say I've seen your journey. It could have been that it was a personal journey, but to me, it always was like, you're not deeply religious. Coming from a Muslim home, I did not see that. But in the past years, I've come to see your spiritual religious journey. You're deeply religious, you're deeply Muslim. I see you fasting, I see you praying, I see you getting closer and closer to Islam. But then there's another part of you that I think a lot of us appreciate. You're also a very liberal person. You're a free thinker. A lot of times I find that we're having conversations and I'll say something about somebody and you'll be like, well, and I don't know the person want to do. Oh, well, Binta, you not saying this way. This person not so like weed. I find, so to me, I always wonder, how do you? So it's a double-edged question. First of all, how would it be? Would you say? And I don't want to presume, but would you say it's because you got married to someone who was very strong in her faith, and that is why you're now stronger in Islam? That's one. And secondly, how do you, because I find myself a lot of times, and I think that's the reason I'm asking you, in conflict with these culturally acceptable norms or stereotypes of our religion versus us thinking freely. How do you find that balance within conforming to being a Salon Muslim man and still being somebody free thinking, liberal? So it's two questions. How did we get here? How did we get to this Beloz? We now, can you tell me all about go Umrah, and go Hajj?
So
how did we get here?
It's been a journey. I like to say I don't consider myself a religious person, but I feel I am a spiritual person. So accept the basic norms of, God and everything.
There's God,
and
yeah.
There's a higher being and all of that. I grew up, of course, in a Muslim home. Both my parents are Muslims. My mother Hajjah. I grew up in a home where
They train you well. Are you not taking them?
Interestingly enough, and maybe which is a plus and a minus, I don't learn Quran. I don't learn what small.
Okay.
So I learned French. I'm not saying my mom chose French over
Islam,
Islam,
but
that's what I did as a kid. Like right now, when Barack Young, so they learn and all of that.
You go like we all. You go to Karmoko, you the land, voila. Yeah.
Nothing.
Okay.
Zero. All the surah they were sabi, now me just grab cram because they're in the English.
Interesting. Okay.
So that, I suppose, give me the benefit of not holding onto certain norms and views, because I don't learn that way.
You learn out of your own will.
Yes.
Okay.
Now
You went in search of it.
Yes. Now, coming from that background but not knowing, I went through a phase in my life where I was dealing with certain spiritual challenges, and I leaned into Christianity because at different points, low points in my life, gospel music was the thing. So I love all the Afrobeats and everything, but gospel music
moved you.
It moved me. So went to church, all this, battles army defense, went to sanctuary,
If I could did your mom know that you were going to church at the time?
She did.
Okay.
And interestingly enough, my mom, when a Hajjah, deeply Muslim, never frowned, never discouraged, because for her was, Ibrahim, you cannot live your life and not have a relationship with God.
Interesting.
So my mama not ever did on that, I need you for being Muslim.
I see where you get this free thinking.
I need you to have, because Ibrahim, when every human being in this life disappoints you,
God won't.
God no more go did it for you. And she tells me, Ibrahim, we come from abject poverty. Me mama and papa no left nothing give me in this life. They left God give me. And a God now don't bring me. So that's the influence. So, of course, going through those challenges, no sabi Quran, no sabi nothing, Christianity.
And it says it's in English.
It's in English. Went there, started going to church. Josafi, went through the deliverance. And
You go.
I did. Interestingly enough, my mom knows Josafi from way back, way just come.
Beloz.
When my mama be there, NIC. But did that at some point. I even go Christ Embassy.
Okay.
But because I'm a people's person, and this is, they say, religion not forbid this, so you're not a good church because of the pastor, I felt a strong connection with Ajesafe. And even when I go Christ Embassy, Pastor Philip then, I felt a strong connection. So I fed off their energies.
Yeah, makes sense.
Now, the reality remains that I have always felt a certain level of inner peace when I interact with Islam. I like the humility that Islam and congregating in the Juma prayer gives you. Akin Tonso, I'm next to a multi-millionaire. A Tonso na the Okada driver.
Yeah.
We all don't pull sus. We're all standing, all foreheads on the ground and everything. So that's that interplay. Of course, at a certain point in time, not judging, but Ajesafe himself gets in challenges around the whole Mufti Menk thing. And it allowed me to ask myself the question of, hang on a second. For me, religion is just a vehicle to serving God. That's how I see it.
Yeah, it is.
I don't, the whole Christian, Muslim thing, the focus should be on God. If you decide for take boats for go England, I man take plane, na England all to they go.
Yeah.
So when those conversations happened around that thing. I realized, my entire family is Muslim. My wife is Muslim. They encourage me to go to church.
So even when you got married, you still were going to church. Okay.
I was going to church.
Okay.
My wife was Muslim.
Okay.
Wake me up every Sunday. They go to church today.
Interesting.
And then at the end of the day, I found my way back because yes, you're right. My wife has, and I think it was a little bit of rebelliousness, but the fact that she did not push or enough force. Yes, we got married the Muslim way.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm a Muslim who, was going to church and all of that. It was never an issue for her. That opened the space for me to say, I potentially need to lean into this because there are things I have always wanted to do. This journey I've always wanted to culminate in the Umrah, the Mecca. My kids were always going to have Muslim names, Arabic names. My kids were always going to learn the Quran, Sabi the Quran. When they're 18, they're free to choose. So that definitely, it played a role, but ultimately it's that peace. I find a lot of peace.
Do you think
Islam.
it's you speak a lot about connecting religion to people, and do you think in some way Islam is you coming home because it connects you to your mom, connects you to your dad, connects you to your wife, and you say in your mind your kids were always going to be Muslim, so it's just you coming home because you have a strong, you just said you felt a strong connection to your church leaders, so your Ajay Safi, Pastor Philip. Do you think, to me, it sounds like Islam for you means home. So you're coming back. You get what I'm saying? Yeah. To me, that's what it sounds like.
I have never processed it as such, but I think you're onto something there. I feel, if I have to be honest with you, I feel I was always going to come back. I feel, whether as I say, yes, that connection, yes, Christianity saved me at that particular point in time, but there were certain things that always were going to bring me back, and which I think is okay as well. But it's, I mean, when you think about it, I'm at a place where, they fast. I know they miss Juma prayers.
I'm so proud of you. Hey! Now back to me. My question, how do you balance Beloz, the free thinker? Although, now that you say this about your mom not frowning upon you practicing Christianity, so you came from a home of free thinkers, of liberal people. It speaks to your mom. We all know she's a huge advocate for human rights. So so to me, how do you, that answers my question really. How can you balance being Muslim and also being liberal and a free thinker? I guess you've answered the question saying you're spiritual more than you're saying,
religious.
I hang on to religion. For you, your religion connects you more with your people rather than just saying, I have this deep feeling that I should be Muslim.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think just on the the spirituality bit, it's holding on to the fundamentals and the things that they're in the Bible, they're in the Quran.
Believe in God, do good,
do right by. Those are, so for me, those are the motivations. And the other things and all of that, I mean, when you hear about, scandals here in the Catholic Church, some Muslim cleric don't do this, you're like...
Humans are humans.
We're human beings. The focus, as I say, for me, primarily, God. That's my focus. Everything else, to me, is static and background noise. It's just, I need this relationship. I need to.
It's good. It's good. You're focused on the right thing for me. Yeah. And speaking of your mom, that was my next question. Everybody know Beloz come out from good people. My man a good person.
Why do you talk now like I don't
I'm just giving the background of how much more work we're still working on you. Still don't join the working on you train. But your mom, famous politician, famous human rights advocate. Your mom is still in the space of impacting people's lives, still working for the UN. She's such a big name, a big personality to come from. Haja Zainab Bangura, we all know him. It don't stand for president. So that is as high as it goes. Minister, diplomat, all of these things, ambassador. Beloz, how has that impacted your life? How has it influenced you coming from such a big name? You feel that you need to, have you ever felt, not from your mom per se, but ever felt the pressure to live up to that name? Because today, when we make it talk about you to mama, I say, oh, Zainab Bangura and Pikin.
And you know, it's a blessing, a lot of blessing, but it's also a curse. I can tell you that the one description that I'm constantly pushing against Zainab Bangura and Pikin.
You're not Zainab Bangura and Pikin.
I have
your mom
a
has
name.
done great things. I'm sorry.
I have a name. And you know, interestingly, now that you asked this question, and I think we had this conversation roundabout even what the Gimme Gal Pikin name. A lot of people in modern law, everybody reached out like,
when we expect a Zainab, yeah.
I'm like, that's too much pressure on that girl. That is too much. My mom has set such a high bar that for Kangia in namesake, where they constantly, it's bad enough that she's always going to be Zainab
Bangura and Grand Pikin.
Yeah. But for now, imprint down there for the rest of your life that the other Zainab Bangura did this. What's in you they do? You know,
I'm sure Raya is up to it. I'm sure.
Yeah, but let Raya do what Raya will do and be, you know, let be Yana Bangura and all of that. But coming back to me, there's definitely been a lot of pressure, not from my mom, but just keeping you in check. You may know this because we got the same kind of mother. My mom is strict. My mom will mess you up in a flash.
Go to school, mess you up. Go to house, do 1 month to the other. That punishment. A lot. I can tell people say you mama, me mama, Abdubari, their mama, and Cecilia.
Those ones. You know, I tell people, I said there are certain things will not cross me mind. That era where me the boss is boy picking the, I don't understand.
Plans.
How me the boss is? How the plans? Like me mama even intended way, you know, when it became a thing for a V-neck under your school uniform. Ibrahim, how you go? Why do you get vest? You know the way t-shirts under uniform.
You have suffered.
That's where I came from. And with the bar she has set, she's never put me under pressure. I can tell you that yes, for me liberal in your ways, although mama not going to encourage me pansating free thinking, you know, but there's never been that pressure of you have to live this life with me don't live or you get for can surpass me and everything. Like be you in a responsible
because you know you can't stain me name with nonsense.
So but there certainly has been that pressure, and as I say, for me, I suppose that's also why I leaned in heavily into embracing Beloz and the Beloz persona, because now ultimately when you think about it, you know Beloz. If you don't know Beloz, you know the name.
Yeah.
I am.
So you had to be a big personality because you had to combat this other big personality that's your mom. So carving out your own niche.
And being my own, having my own identity. So yes, among the older guard and all, I'm still Zainab Bangura because my own generation. But when you come to our own space, when you just drop Beloz and walk away,
I don't need designer
Bangura. Answers every other question.
I don't need designer Bangura.
Yeah.
But speaking of that, I remember us even in school. I remember your mom was one of the few, because she is in the professional space, a diplomat. I remember that a lot of times she traveled because of work. I wonder, and I know your wife is a professional. She's an engineer. She has her job. But I also know Yasin is such a mom. She's such a nurturer. She loves just babying everybody for cook for all man, for this all man. That's Yasin. Her personality is, I just want in a kitchen. I just want this fuss over Beloz. Do you think that having a mom that traveled a lot for work, there's a bit, do you think it has either leaned you towards being more into the traditional way of having a wife and a mother, in that because of your mom, do you want a wife and a mom that's more of a homemaker, or do you not mind because you grew up and had this, as I say, this powerhouse that was your mom? Do you, if Yasin was to say, you know what, Beloz, I'm searching for an international job and I'll be traveling a lot, would you be okay with that in your space? As I say, I know Yasin is very into her home, but are you less, do you lean less to the traditional mama, papa, mama in our kitchen, take care of Pekin role, or what is it for you?
So I think it's somewhere in the middle. As you know, I'm a homebody. Yes. My best time is just being home, not doing anything.
You both sleep 8 o'clock.
Yeah, having my person around me. It helps a lot that even though, you know, I can throw snide comments, say, oh, now, you know, they make a lot of sweat, but it helps that Yasin is an amazing cook. I love her cooking and all of that.
Yasin,
I always make a
Yasin should just open a restaurant and just be done with it.
You hear that?
Yeah, Yasin, you should just be done with this engineering. Just open restaurants for we.
But in as much as I love that, I value that, I appreciate that, as a partner, I suppose because I grew up in a home where the mama naina, the alpha, you know, naina, the go-getter and everything, I'm very open to it. I'm constantly, you know, pushing Yasin in a very, like, you're free to do whatever. Babes, you want to quit your job today and take a 6-month hiatus, I got you. Do that. Like, I'm here.
Aww.
You get an international opportunity, you know, and I'm fine being a stay-at-home dad.
I'm not sure you and Raya go.
Yeah, no, the first go Boku, we go get for the parts Boku case.
Raya ain't gonna move.
But I am open to all of that. And obviously that's because that's what I grew up knowing. That's what I grew up, you know.
Strong.
Exactly.
You're used to strong women who get it, like they go for them.
But the irony is, because my dad comes from a different generation where everything at the man is a man's world and everything, seeing my dad not give my mom the kind of support, it kind of make her realize, say, I need to do the opposite. Because I'm closer to my mom. I grew up around my dad. Daddy always dinner.
Boys and their mamas, and you know, one shilling rope.
Yeah, my mom. So there's definitely that. So whilst I don't go easily say, oh, I'm willing to trade up on, you know, on the cooking, having my person and all of that, she always teases me, like right now, a day, you know, that's what they shoot, so a day in the field, somewhere, I think I can him or something. And she always says, how come whenever I'm home, you just sleep quick? Well, one of the you're up. Like, you understand? I'm like,
I don't use, when you're here, it's safe. Yeah, something, when you're not here, something's missing. Aw, Mr. Loverman. Yeah. I understand.
Say it's Binta.
Yeah, since still no, so you're not Mr. Loverman.
So for me, there's that. You understand? Just, it's this thing we have built that, you know, that's influenced by where I come from, the background, the history and everything. I love that my wife is an engineer. I love that he didn't feel it. Didn't have some gutter right now in the measure. Make and the other, they say, now I ain't get the tape measure, but I use it around the house because we didn't do a half construction project. I'm like, no, lost me tape measure. And she's like, babes,
I'm a whole engineer.
And it's mine. I'm like, whatever, man. But so
she's a whole engineer. What's you sabi bots for lay block?
Yeah, I did a measure. So yeah, so that definitely did play a role, and I'm open. I want for her, she loves engineering, she's always loved engineering, that's what she's always wanted to be. I love for her to get the opportunities. I would love for us to be in a space where she gets some outstanding international opportunity, and you know, engineers make a ton of money. If we ever find ourselves in another space, I can tell her and say, listen,
let buy for you one nice, what's in that color range, G-Wagon what you want.
There you go.
Then you truck them.
All me go to do now for men picking there and go gym. And I'm fine. Yeah, I really am fine. It's not a bad thing to be a stay-at-home dad, Binta. It's okay. It's the 21st century.
We tire. You tire.
Yeah. Been hustling for too long.
I'm happy that that our generation, the men are thinking more like you. We thank you for your support to allow us to shine. It's not easy living in such patriarchal societies as we do. And speaking of Yasin, there was something you said a while back when we were in another panel that was interesting to me, where you said for you, marriage is less about love. Like love is one of the least things you should look for when getting married. I am going to be married for 16 years in a couple of days. And when you said that, I agree with you. I know you're deeply in love with Yasin. Yasin is in love with you. I'm in love with my husband. My husband too. We're not saying love is not important. But what was interesting to me is, how did you, at that young age, because you got married also not old. You mean, don't say. Yeah. But you got married young. But how did some of us? I didn't get to that. I remember my mom saying that, and I looked at my mama like say, "You sure what you talk like?" We grew up in an era of mills and boons. I want to feel the butterflies, and I felt the butterflies. Oh, love is everything. But getting older and getting having been married for so long, you realize that love is required. Love is important, but it's not the most important, or not the basis of what you should base you, because you can love someone but you're not compatible. How did you get to that point so early on in life? That I know that marriage is not like love, not all the butterflies now the thing for me. How?
I am the product of a dysfunctional marriage.
Beloz.
That's the
Haja Zaina Bangura. This is that we didn't. No, I am not here for me. Not go and let me your mama say me the part of this kind of conversation. Big people business. For this half back day, don't get you think you're grown.
Here's what it is.
You know, say your mama go pull you up quick, but go ahead.
Here's what it is. I saw my parents struggle. My parents. Mama, I can tell us that Papa the love of your life. Loved my dad to bits. Loved him to bits with all his flaws and everything. My dad adored my mom. Worshipped the ground she walked on.
So how is that dysfunctional? You have two people who are so in love, and you there clearly.
And they had their challenges. Invariably, they got to a point where they parted ways. They were separated. You understand? And decide for take a hiatus. Never got round to getting a divorce and everything. But get to a space where they're comfortable for just live outside of each other's space. And so seeing them go through that and recognizing at an early age that the biggest challenge they had was the lack of communication. It made me realize that the love is a deal, but there are other things on top of that. Just being able to pause and see things from the other person's perspective. I remember having a conversation once, I'm much older now, and then don't go back and forth and disagree on a couple of things. Later points now, I would mediate and do all of that. And I remember saying to my dad, Mommy, don't explain, so and so and so and so and so. And my dad was making his points. He had good points and everything. And I remember telling him, the mistake you're making is wanting to justify your actions or your inactions. If this person, I don't perceive and I don't receive and don't tell you, say, this got to me, it hurts me, it bothered me. All this person need at this point is for you to listen, take ownership of whatever it is you did or did not do, and apologize and make amends.
Yeah.
My dad never got that. It was always, but this, but Nasomi. No.
A lack of accountability. Yeah.
And it worked both ways.
Yeah.
So for me, just being a part of that, having that bird's eye view or outside perspective of two people who were deeply in love, not able to live without each other, see them struggle because of these other things. I recognize that love, as you say, is important, but it's somewhere down there.
Yeah.
So for me, deciding to get married, and I think I've said this more than enough times, that I had that checklist. So one, it's a part of knowing what you want, but it's also just having that experience, seeing two people every day in love struggle, recognizing that this is possible. In my mind, I calculated that, you know what? The love is important. But that person will support you, will be there for you, the day now you corner, hold you accountable and all of that. That is why I prioritized all of those things. And I can always say, Alhamdulillah, I think I know I found my person. I always say
such a blessing.
And people can say, oh, no, but they take time with it, all and they jump fire and all of that. I'm like, here's what I know. There is nothing and no one in this life where they make me and Yasin parts.
Aww.
Because it's an accident.
No.
Deliberate,
it
calculated,
and intentional.
And this me person. Like,
yeah.
And I think because the funny thing, I think also because Yasin was not always in Sierra Leone, you understand, eh? So people don't know her like that. People know the
quiet Yasin.
You know, say Yasin can be, you understand, eh? But because people know me and don't know her, sometimes people
and you're such
struggle.
A big personality. So a lot of people, if you're not close to Yasin, you don't say yourself gets to you.
I tell people, I say, for all this me win him, like
I get what I bull me.
Yasin, no, they talk. Like certain times I'm out, time don't they go satisfied. That simple, hey babes, are you coming home soon? Then they actually mean my nigga.
Why aren't you here? Who you be with?
That's I mean they look for vets for done with drink and all thing. Not because there's any pressure or anything.
Anyway, thank you for waiting to be at this one.
Yeah.
You as Ibrahim Bangura, let God bless you now. Now they can pay all the debts.
Yeah,
that second child. Woo!
She's another one.
But we've talked about so many things today. I guess people don't tell what we don't talk about a lot of things. But this relationship thing, now something we'll revisit later on because it's very, very it's very interesting your take on it. Beloz, you've done law. You've been a lawyer. You can say you're not a lawyer anymore, but officially you're not a lawyer. You get LLM, this whatever it is, then letters them. You've done 2 masters.
Yeah.
Lambuko, why don't you not go for PhD one day? You've worked in governance. You still work in governance. I think it's your niche now. I think you do like it.
Yeah.
You come from a political background. You've dabbled in that a bit. What next for Beloz? And all of these career moves. I know that you say law was because of your parents, like
my dad.
Your dad. You had to be a lawyer. Not so like say you mean particularly passionate about it.
No.
Your career path, has it been intentional or has it been this is an opportunity I want to pursue? Because I know say you don't even go into entertainment, let not even go into that money way loss.
Yeah. Was it the Afrobeats Festival? Yeah.
Hey, Beloz. Yeah. Hey, people picking, taking my meme.
Life happens.
Go lost so much money. So you've done entertainment. And that's another thing I like about you. I think you're unafraid to seize whatever opportunity. Even we just spoke about relationship. You meet your wife in how many weeks, and then you're like, you might well feel say you're not full up. So has it been intentional or has it been Beloz seizing these opportunities and saying, I want to try this? And what next?
So there's somewhere I am going where people close to me know. Those who may not be close to me potentially see it coming. That's a conversation for another day. But I have always felt and believed that to get to a certain place, you have to follow a certain path. One of the things my mama can always say is that, for be political leader, they don't teach in a classroom. They need teach They need teacher for be president in a classroom. They need teacher for be mayor in a classroom. They need teacher for be parliamentarian. They need teacher for be council in a classroom. But what I also do know is that there are certain stepping stones and there are certain things that can add value to where you want to go. So, yes, I read law. That was for my dad. When I graduated and when I was called to the bar, my dad wept. Cry like pieces, baby. He wept because he was so proud. He was so proud. He always wanted to be a lawyer. It was his dream. He wanted one of the kids to be a lawyer. Reason why when I graduated, they opened me law firms, like, go set it up at the building at Adelaide Street and everything. And shortly after me called to the bar, he said to me, "You have made me proud. Anything you want to do now in my life."
You're such a good kid.
Yeah, make rank no more. He did say that to me, and it made me, one, it gave me the confidence to go out and try other things. But I can tell you that it took my dad passing for me accept that I no longer need to be a lawyer. I gave this to him. He died knowing that his child is a lawyer.
Yeah.
He died seeing me in the practice of the law. Now I can focus on other things. I tell people, say, going to government, and I've always been, I suppose that's why I joined Rotary Service. I believe in servant leadership. Going to Frobe College and all, get SLG and all of that.
You've been serving at government, eh? SU.
Yeah, SU government. I recognize that I need to give back. Because if I benefit from Ceylon government scholarship, I need to give back.
Yeah.
Giving back means, working in government. I'm not going to work there because of the salary and everything. And then working in government, I begin to understand the challenges.
Whew.
What? Man, on one side and they walk. I always tell people, if I not learn anything working in government, I learned why systems are not the work. I learned why we get challenges, that's how we get so. I may not particularly know already how to fix those challenges, but the starting points, like I can say, the first part pass exam, you have to understand the examination question.
Oh yeah, working at State House was an eye-opener.
It was an eye-opener. So starting at that point, and then of course the transition happened, 2018, came out of that space, went back into private practice, realized this is really not for me. There's a reason I left so many years ago, and then decide, say, the next frontier is understanding how development works and in tandem with our international partners. And that Sierra Leone is just, like how small now the map, we're a small piece in the world, body politic. So that's how international relations became an interest, and also thanks to Lena Thompson, because I teach me that in Afrobe College and I became interested. So do all of that, they come back, see this opportunity, and it was a governance thing, and recognize, say, Salon, gold, diamond, bauxite, we have
fish,
the people, we have the smart
timber,
people, we have
everything.
We are where we are because of our governance challenges. So if at all I feel someday I may want to put myself in that space where I am able to begin to address these challenges, I have to understand them. I have to hone in on those governance skills, and that will potentially set the stage for whatever is coming in the next chapter of my life. So
we're excited for it.
Yeah.
We're here for it. We'll be along the journey, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we don't, I think great things are coming for you. You've done well. You've been the obedient son. You do law. You made your mom proud. You live up to the Haja Zainab Bangura name. You have a beautiful family. You've been intentional. I think for all where people can see this happy-go-lucky, laugh, kalo Beloz.
There's a method to my madness.
Yes, I know there is. I know. And I think people should start seeing this more. So thank you, Beloz, for having this chit chat with me. Me and you'll do this talk anyway. So now false life the kitchen. We can put me on camera. Happy birthday. Beloz, and you're turning 30 plus a couple of other.
Yeah,
The 40th.
years. They are not ready.
They are not
They are not
ready.
ready. We're coming. We're coming.
Happy birthday, Beloz. And
Very much.
this was nice. We should do this again.
We should.
Bye, everyone.